Hi, I'm David Plazas, the Opinion and Engagement Director for the Tennessean. This is part of a series of videos on the mayoral and vice mayoral elections for August 3rd, 2023. I'm delighted to have today's guest as Angie Henderson, council member for District 34, who is running for vice mayor. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, David. Thank you for having me.
Well, tell us a little bit about why are you running for vice mayor?
I have served on the council over the last 8 years, and that has been a difficult time for the city, but I really have enjoyed the policy work. And this city has a lot of policy work to do. And, land use policy, transportation, housing, and, we've had a lot of volatility in our leadership, a whole lot of strategic plans. And I really do think it's important for the legislative body to be strong and have some strategic intention around that policy work. And the vice mayor is the president and the head of the city council, the legislative body.
And some people don't understand what the vice mayor does versus the mayor, for example. We were in a meeting before this where you said some people think it's a ticket, but tell us, what is the vice mayor's job and how is it different from the mayor's job?
Yes, so the vice mayor is the president of the city council, and the vice mayor coordinates the committee work, the committee chairs, any special committee work, runs the meetings, organizes the council office in support of council members. So it really is, I think, good for Nashville and good for citizens when the legislative body is strong and doing good work. So the vice mayor is the head of that body and that branch of government. So the mayor is the executive, the vice mayor is the head of the legislative branch.
And what are the issues that you're hearing most from your constituents about what they want metro government to do for them?
Yeah, I think affordability, quality of life, the strength and support of our schools, community safety, really all of those issues are top of mind and have been for many years. Obviously transportation, traffic, systems. The work that the council does, whether budgetary, oversight of departments, making sure our strategic plans are aligned with our policy. The legislative body touches all those things that community members are concerned about and care about.
And one of the things that I'm curious always about people with a long history of service, you've been in the council for almost 8 years. What are the things that you're proudest of? Tell us a little bit about your background and the things that voters should know about you as to why you're prepared for this position.
Yes. So way back when, I am 50 now, but back in college, I went to college outside of Philadelphia, and I majored in something called Growth and Structure of Cities, which is a liberal arts approach to history of urban form, urban sociology. So I tell folks that I use my major every day. I really am fascinated by Nashville. I love this city. I'm a Nashville native, and I just, as president of my neighborhood association, as a volunteer for more walkable, bikeable communities, I came to find over the years that if I wanted to make improvements, and I was proud of that advocacy work, I enjoyed that, I learned a lot about the community, that I had to run for office and deliver some policy, deliver some requirements. So my first major policy effort, of which I'm most proud, was elevating and expanding our sidewalk requirements. Subsequent to that, elevating our tree requirements for commercial and multifamily development. After that, street tree requirements. So that walkable trees through development, street trees, those all layer on top of each other to help support transit. And so really that land use policy is the majority of the work that comes through council. And those were major, countywide policy efforts. And it's very difficult to legislate for Nashville. 526 square miles, a lot of different contexts, right? It's important, I think, that the vice mayor understand that work at a very granular level to help support the body in continuing to do the work we need to do.
And one of the things that we've discussed in the previous meeting was the notion of stability, and we've had 3 mayors in the last 8 years, obviously 2 vice mayors during this time, and we've also seen it in poll results like the Vanderbilt poll that showed that the majority of Nashvillians feel the city's headed in the wrong direction, and a supermajority is really concerned about growth. What can you do if you're elected as vice mayor to help guide conversations that rebuild some of that trust?
Yeah. I think so often citizens become engaged in the work of the council through a rezoning or a development effort, right? And they're kind of learning about it at whatever stage of the process. They may have concerns about it, whether those be traffic or the height of the building and so forth. So I really do think it's important that we kind of get in front of that, and we sort of level set for how we do that work. How we work with the development community, have the meetings in community, and I think the process, it feels like it's happening really fast, right? And that can make citizens feel that it's just overwhelming. And that's kind of out of track a little bit, our growth with our underlying support systems for that growth. So we were 80 years behind on our sidewalk requirements. So we needed to elevate and expand those. Our transportation system, we're behind on that. We don't have that dedicated funding so we can run those buses on more frequent headways. So I hear from a lot of folks that things are out of sync somewhat. And so they're, only really ever engaging with government potentially when they're opposed to something, right? This is coming to my neighborhood, and I don't want that to be here. We need to kind of get back to a more proactive space. What do you want to see in your community? And we're starting to get back there, but with all the volatility, it's been hard to be in a proactive posture rather than a reactive posture. So I think it's part of working with community, the Neighborhoods Resource Center, Neighbor to Neighbor, they've done some engagement around the planning process. So, that's all the work that we are doing and need to continue to do, so people don't feel so overwhelmed, and that their engagement is not negative, or only negative.
During the recent Titans vote, you called for public hearings. Initially, you had some resistance. Eventually, those public hearings were held.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what you learned from the power of the voice of the people to inform a vote, and why it was important in your mind to have those public hearings for that third and final vote.
Absolutely. I would have liked for us to have it on the second vote when the bill was still amendable without suspension of the rules, but my effort did fail, and I was able to reinitiate the effort to get it on third reading, which I felt was still very important for something of that magnitude. That is the biggest public investment in a stadium sports facility in the history of the United States. And the fact that we would not have a public hearing about that was just unconscionable to me. And colleagues did speak to the East Bank Stadium Committee, some of those listening sessions early on, and I think those were commendable and important. We did listen to the community then. But the particulars of the deal, the final math of how this will work, that wasn't before us till I think April 3rd, right? And so, there was general feelings in the community, yes stadium, no stadium, but as to the particulars of the deal, we had not, in my view, had sufficient time to share with the community just sort of the critical analysis of, does this pencil out? What are the concerns? At that point, there's so much momentum, right? And there's certain dominant narratives, and you're just going for the finish line. And to your question earlier of just kind of just the growth and the feeling of like there's no way to kind of stop this train, right? Maybe the train does need to keep going, but it's got some stops along the way, and one of those most important stops is a public hearing on the merits of the deal itself, the bill that is before us. The bill is amended.
Thank you for that. One of the things that may be coming up in the next 4 years is a reduction of the council size. Currently it's being contested, there's an injunction, and we will have 40 council members for the next 4 years. That could be reduced to 20 depending on the outcome of the court case. How do you, as you think about how to organize council members, be it 40 or 20, what is your approach to leading and your approach to, shall we say, herding cats?
Oh, I would never refer to my colleagues that way. I think we can absolutely optimize the 40-member body. And I've spent a fair amount of time of thinking about how to do that. When we were in the midst of the state reach down and not knowing how that would go, I then spent some time thinking about, okay, how would we do 20? If that is where we have to go in time, I think we can get there. I do worry, though, that we will have, for 526 square miles, the magnitude of the work that we do. We are a county commission. We are a legislative body. We are a water authority. I mean, there is a lot before us for a city of our size, both geographically and from a population perspective. We've done 40 for a long time. Can we do 40 better? Yes. I worry at 20 we will have insufficient oversight and kind of diversity in the body to do all the work that we need to do. If it's something that we have to do, I will absolutely make sure that we plan ahead and get on the path to making that transition. I am concerned about it.
You also have the geographic diversity of rural, suburban, urban, and different areas as well.
Yeah, it really does. Nashville is unique in that regard. But others might not know that, we were the first city-county consolidated government in the United States. And so, there are some strengths in that and some challenges in that. So, primarily the strength, we did not lose our tax base. As far as, folks when the nation mostly went to a suburban development pattern, we didn't lose that. We kept that within our county, and that is a strength for us.
Now, on a lighter note, I always like to ask Canada just a little bit about the places that they recommend for visitors to come see. If they only have a weekend in Nashville, what are some of the things that you recommend?
Well, shout out to District 34. I've got to recommend Cheekwood. The Cheekwood in the Warner Parks. I serve, my district is in Southwest Nashville. That really is a beautiful botanic garden, historic home place, and museum. So I always encourage folks to go to Cheekwood and then to do something to engage our music scene. For sure, and whether that be, there's the Bluebird in the Green Hills, or Station Inn, or Robert's Western World, or the Ryman, or doing something musical. But I really do enjoy the African American Music Museum. Took our kids, our teens there a few months back. They really enjoyed that, and the Country Music Museum. So that's more than 2 or 3, but I think those hit some good things.
Sure, and if voters want to learn more about you, how do they do that?
Yes, AngieForViceMayor.com. I'm on Twitter at Angie Nashville, and Angie for Vice Mayor on Instagram and Facebook. So they can find me on social media, and then my website again is AngieForViceMayor.com.
Well, thank you so much, Councilmember. And to our voters and viewers, remember the election is August 3rd. Voter registration deadline is July 5th. Early voting starts July 14th. Please be active, get out there, and if you're looking for more information, go to Tennessean.com. Thank you so much.